Hello everyone, my name is Dimitri. In this video, we're going to review one of the new features added in the R81.10 version for the GCP cloud. It's called the new internal load balancer. In this video, we're going to review the legacy configuration that we had in the previous versions, challenges and limitations that we had there, how to configure the new load balancer in R81.10, and a couple of limitations that we still do have. In this slide, you can see the motivation and what mostly we can achieve using this new project. First of all, we can use the dynamic MIG instead of the current one. We can use the one MIG for inbound, outbound, and east-west traffic. And also we can use the symmetric hashing to avoid the source NAT in the east-west. Let's have a look in the current configuration. In this video, I've already created the environment with the management server, scale set MIG gateway with 2 instances, external load balancer, and 2 hosts after the gateway. From the left side, you can see the diagram that showed us how did it work in the previous versions. Every time that you do scale out, we have to create the new internal VPC route table. Why? Because in the old versions, we could not use the internal load balancer since the health probes that we could receive came only from the external interface ETH0. As the result, we had to create the new routes for every scale out, and the east-west traffic went also through some of these instances, and we had to use the NAT feature. It caused some issues with the speed. In the new configuration, we can use the internal load balancer, and we can use the health probes from ETH0 of the external VPC and ETH1 from the internal one. It allows us to create the new type of the next hop to use the internal load balancer. This allows us to automatically scale out and scale in, so we can have the dynamic MIG without any changes. And also the east-west traffic is going through the internal load balancer. So for the east-west traffic, we do not need to use any source NAT. Let's have a look. How does it work in the real environment? First step that we need to do is connect to the cloud dashboard of the GCP, go to Network Services, Load Balancing, and create the new load balancer. Here we choose the TCP load balancing in our case. Since we are configuring the internal load balancer, which is only between VMs, single region only. First of all, we configure the backend configuration. Let's give it a name. We'll use our region. In my case, it's US East 1. Here we need to choose the backend VPC of the scale set gateway. This is mine. And we choose our GCP scale set. The next step is to choose the health check. We do have already some, but let's create a new one. .8.1.1.7 is the only port that is supported for this version, so we need to use it. Everything else we will leaving as it is. Session affinity, we're going to choose client IP and protocol. Let's go to the front-end configuration. Here we're going to need to use some kind of a name. Subnet is already automatically configured. We will also use port 8117. Global access disabled. Done. Let's review our configuration and create it. After some time, it will be configured. As you can see, it's configured in addition to mine. Let's wait. Okay, we'll wait for some time. Here you are. We can see that all backend services are healthy. Let's have a look. In my MIG, we do have 2 instances, and we see 2 out of 2 are healthy. It can take a bit of time, but eventually it will be healthy. The second step is to choose the routes. Here's our internal VPC. Here's our VPC. We are going to the routes. Currently, we have 2 internal VPCs that appeared to our backend and the local route. So we're going to have to add a new one. Let's give it a name. We will add maximum of the destination range. And in here, we have the specific new feature. Specify forwarding rule of internal TCP/UDP load balancer. Since we already created the load balancer, here we have the list of the rules. Let's take ours, as I told you, port 8117, and create it. Our rule was created, so our next step is let's go to the Smart Console. In Smart Console, we need to create the following. For the environment that does not use the outbound traffic, it works only internal, we do not need to configure anything. East-west traffic will work as it is, but most of the environments use both outbound and east-west traffic simultaneously. So we need to do the following. We need to create the objects of the internal hosts. I already have it here. Let's go to NAT and add the hide NAT for the outbound traffic. We already have it. But we still do not want to use the NAT for source NAT for the east-west traffic. So let's add a couple of rules. I have the group. It's called web clients. It's replicating our both internal hosts. We will do no NAT rule. If original source and original destination are the web clients, we will leave it as it is. And if you want to go to the internet, we will have to use the dynamic objects. We will use the hide NAT as the method and leave everything else as it is. That's it. As the result of this configuration, we can use the traffic between the east-west, and we will not use the source NAT. Let's have a look. Here we do have the internal one, internal 2 host. We are doing the ping with one and another. Let's have a look. We do have the fresh log between host 2 and host 1 with the link to the NAT rule number 1. It says that we do not change anything, so we are reaching the table of NAT rules, but we do not use any of those. Okay. Let's talk about the limitations that we still do have in this configuration. Mostly we do not have so much. The only one that we do have is that in a normal flow, if in case we have the internal load balancer plus servers that are located in the same VPC, it will not support the east-west traffic. So we have default routes priorities over the custom routes. What does it mean? That the traffic will not go through as it is supposed to, and this configuration will not work. The traffic will go through without any checks from the checkpoint cluster side. And that's it. I hope this video was helpful, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.